Christmas is over.
Almost New Year. You guys ready for the new year?
2020 can go away, right?
That's right.
Dude, this year's been crazy.
It has. Dude.
Crazy.
The craziest I've lived in.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, man.
Another booch drink? Booch?
Yep. Same thing.
This video is brought to us by Two Hearted Ale from Two Hearted Ale.
Like same beer or another
Same beer.
of the
Same beer, dude. Taking it easy.
Oh.
Plus, it's just an American IPA, man.
Doesn't do it for you?
No, not really.
What was your rated? A 5?
5. We'll go 5.3.
There's nothing worse than just opening a beer and you're like, I'm stuck with this thing for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Unless I pound it. Oh.
Yeah. So, dude, remember how I told you my brother has an XR70 and it started smoking like crazy?
Yeah.
So he calls me the other day and he's like, dude, this thing's smoking like crazy. And I'm like, what's, and he went, cause obviously it's burning oil. So he was riding it or whatever. And he went to open the drain plug. I'm sorry, the dipstick. And he hears, and I'm like, okay, well, dude, your vent, your crankcase vent hose is clogged or something. He's like, oh yeah, I was going through like 4 feet of mud the other day or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, that's your problem. And that's probably why it's puffing smoke, right?
Right.
So he tries to locate this hose, and the previous owner, which he knows is his friend, took the air box off, put a pod on, and there's, I guess, a little box that has all the hoses hooked up to it or whatever. Well, that was gutted too, and he just jammed a bolt in the hose.
Oh.
That vents that. So, dude, the thing had no chance. I mean, it was pressurized oil up into the freaking past the rings, like for years now. Okay.
It's been doing this for years.
So I'm wondering if it's going to stop smoking now that he fixed it, but I don't know if that did any damage or what. I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
And then another thing this guy did is the pod, the rubber, that slides over the carb, right? It was too big.
Right.
So he used white PVC plumbing stuff to adapt the size, right?
Very good.
Well, what happened over time is fuel is obviously vapor, and it melted the PVC.
Okay.
And on the back of the air horn of the carb, there's 2 passages. One air bleed feeds the pilot and one feeds the main. Well, it oozed into those passages, so no air was getting to those, so it was running super rich. Rich. It was like sputtering. Dude, cleaning that ooze out of there was the hardest thing in the world because, like, what do you do with PVC goop?
Yeah.
It was like just kept coming out. Like I couldn't get it.
It was like soft still?
It was like,
or did it like re-harden?
It was like melted marshmallow, dude. That's what it looked like,
Holy cow.
So there you go.
That thing, man, go Honda. I'm working on 2 just recently. I posted up on Instagram. I was working on one of the 2020 Talons.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the 4-seater.
Yep, side by side. Well, they have a 2-seater and a 4-seater.
So what does that thing retail for? And how much horsepower?
The one that I'm talking about right now?
Dude, those side by side things are so much money. They're like the badass ones. They're crazy. Like, dude, some of these are like turbo and they're like 300 horsepower or whatever.
The
and they're
like
stuff.
Yeah.
They're like 25, 30 grand.
Yeah.
And you will break it.
Yeah.
I see these people just because you're going to roll the hell out of it. I would.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. Yeah. And then you need a serious trailer and a serious truck to pull all this stuff. Dude, that's big money stuff, man.
It's big money, man.
I will never get into that.
The guy who I'm working with now has 2 of them. He has the 2-seater,
Yeah.
and he has the 4-seater. And both of them are just completely worked up. I mean, they got $1,500 in wheels and tires to match the color of the unit.
Yeah.
I installed a heater system.
Oh, man.
So it's got vents, it's got piping. It runs straight into the cooling system. You extend the lines out to it to a little radiator with a blower motor attached to it. And you run 4 lines to it. He put a windshield on it with a windshield wiper with windshield wiper fluid.
Whoa.
Full encased, like the plexi wrapping windows. It's kind of like like thick plastic.
Sure.
That you can still see out of. So it's like completely enclosed. So the specs they're about 25, 26 grand for this model. They call it the Fox Live valve, which is a pretty awesome system. The suspension, they got suspension from someone else, and it's pretty remarkable. I mean, the way that it can sense a preload for a jump and then change for the landing to allow for the stability of the impact of jumping. So, because as soon as you preload a jump, all the suspension squats real quick. And it extends out fully. So
right.
It can prepare itself for the landing of that. So it's not so like, wow,
Yeah. So it can dampen it better.
It can dampen it better. Yeah. It has multiple different settings. Multiple different diff locks. All that kind of stuff. That's
crazy, man.
But this one especially, it has launch control.
Okay.
Which is a little bit unnerving because it's the first time I've actually done this on one of the units. I've heard it because they just released the launch control 2021, or I think 2021. But it's pretty crazy because you hit it, wait for the light, and you pull both paddle shifters in, and then you put the pedal where you want it.
Right.
Now, obviously, you want to put that son of a bitch to the floor, right?
Yeah.
But nothing's happening. So me being a mechanic or a technician, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit this throttle, and the engine's going to rev up. But it doesn't. It's just you put the pedal to the floor, and nothing's happening. It's just waiting for you to release these paddles.
Sure.
And so now in my head, I'm like, I have the pedal to the floor. I'm about to release the paddles, and I'm by myself. I'm like, I wonder how this is going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how this thing's going to respond. And I hit it and just boom. And it literally just goes. It just goes. And it shifts real high. So it's all the way at the top of the RPM. Wah, da, da, and it's shifting all the way through. And you're just like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I bet, man. So what is it, a Talon 1000R?
X. You can do either one. But the one I rode was an X.
The R has 104.
Okay.
The X, it says 104.
Okay.
So my brother has the original Kawasaki Mule.
Okay.
And it's just to bring stuff up and down to the river.
Dude, the Mule is the absolute ultimate workhorse.
But it's just like, dude, no suspension, I don't think. I think it's just...
No, dude. So I'll tell you a story about when the Talon was being made.
All right. Well, this is airing 12/29. So, dude, happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to everybody.
2020 can go suck it.
Yep.
Seriously, dude. This year's just been pretty crazy for everyone. So, all right, let's get right into this guy.
Let's do it, man. You want to fire us up?
Yep. All right, guys, this is episode 20 of the Broken Moto Show. So this show is with Cody from MotorcycleMD and myself, Matt from howtomotorcyclerepair.com, and we answer your tech questions. So we have 3 questions to go over in this episode, and these guys reach us through a certain email. Cody, what is that email? What should they include in the email?
The email is askbrokenmoto@gmail.com. In the subject, you can contain the year, make, and model of the vehicle. Please be descriptive on what you're talking about. Pictures are awesome. Videos are awesome of what is going on. You may not think it's very helpful, but it is. If you just worked on something, show us how you fixed it. Show us, the bike. Let us see it. What kind of shape is it in? How many miles does it have on it? The more, the merrier. Obviously, don't crush us with your family tree or anything, but just give us the information about the bike, and that would be super helpful. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah. Nice job.
Thank
Wrapped
you.
it up good.
Cool, man. Well, welcome, you guys. Let's go ahead and fire this up. Episode 20, question number 1. I'll take this one. Hey, guys. Thank you very much for whatever you do. It's so helpful. Whatever we do, Matt, is working. I'm a French citizen living in Quebec, Canada. So English is not my first language, but I'll try my best. Okay, I have a friend who has a KZ1000. The old asking for a friend trick. I have a friend who has a KZ1000 1979. I did a big job for him. Did you see the pictures of this, Matt?
I did. Nice before and after for sure.
He did a big job.
Yep.
On this one.
Looks good.
Well done. Well done. I'll add. We installed 4 pods to replace the airbox. Yes, Cody, I know. I ran for trouble. For this reason, I have had to change the position of the clip on the jet needle from 3 OEM to 4. The end of the 4-in-1 exhaust was rusty. The guy who fixed it for me had the size of the hole reduced a little bit. After a first test drive at 3,500 RPM, the engine was kind of stroking. Seemed like it was probably stuttering or something like that. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Seltzer. Probably too much air for the pods for what the 4-in-1 was able to evacuate. I drilled a few holes in the end cap of the 4-in-1 around the main hole to increase the flow of the exhaust. It was much better after, which is very interesting to me. My issue is, on acceleration from 4,000 to 4,400 RPM, the engine has a little hesitation. Under and above the spot, everything is linear and smooth. I installed an electronic ignition timed with a strobe light. What can possibly be the problem? The carb is a Mikuni VM26SS. I cleaned it perfectly, then rebuilt it with a new kit. I checked the float level and set everything as the manual says. The only thing I have not done is synchronization of the carbs. Could that be the source of the problem? I was also thinking of changing the spark plug cables for brand new ones. What do you think? Thank you in advance. Didn't get his name. So.
Maybe I didn't post. Maybe I didn't cut and paste in here, so sorry for that.
No problem, man. Once again, lots of stuff going on here.
Yep.
Interesting thing that he said about opening up the exhaust.
Yeah, and the problem shifted.
Yeah,
it sounds like
it moved. It shifted from 3,500 RPM. He drilled the exhaust out, and that was all he did. And then now my issue is on acceleration from 4,000 to 4,400. The engine has a little hesitation. So I don't think that was the silver bullet. I think that he has a common pod filter situation. He changed the position clip, and that's all we know. I don't see anything about jet changes. I don't know what his jets are at currently. Am I missing something?
No. I looked.
That's all I see.
I mean, I looked it up. Stock pilot is 15 on this carb. Stock main is, I believe, 102.5, and I'm grabbing this from the parts fish, not a manual.
Yeah. 15 idle.
Yeah, it's a Mikuni. They got weird numbers.
Okay.
I mean,
so it sounds like he needs to go up on both if he has not.
Yeah, so I've worked on a KZ1000, but it had the 29 millimeter carbs, pods, exhaust, and I think I was at 17.5 pilot jet, but it was an air screw carb. I believe this might be a fuel screw carb. Anyway, With the mains, 102.5, you should probably be at like 115 to 120.
Right.
Now the needle, you went to 3 to 4, which is good. Now you're having issues at 4,000 to 4,400 RPM. So that's probably the needle, right? You're right in the middle of the range. Take some masking tape. Tape the hell out of tape half of the pods up. It'll limit the amount of air and see if things improve.
Yeah.
See what happens.
If
if it does, then you need more fuel, right?
Yep.
Or you can just turn the choke halfway on or full on or whatever and see what happens. So I would do that.
Some people will take those pods. I don't know what kind of pods he's using. Hopefully they're good quality stuff. But some people will even take like a washer. Have you seen that? Like a big washer. And then they'll
restrict the pod?
Yeah.
So what's the point of the pods?
It's all look, dude. It's all look. It's how all those cafe racers are, man.
They've been watching the Ichiban videos.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
man.
Badass, dude.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, thanks for all the information, man. It was very helpful. You did a great job on the build. It sounds like you need to go from a VM26 to a VM29, get a little more poop out of that thing, and then tune accordingly with some bigger mains and bigger idle, because you're right in the sweet spot of that transfer from off needle into main, that whole scenario of off idle. You're definitely out of idle, being up as far as 4,500 RPM. So you're right in that sweet spot where most people have an issue, I think. I think it's it's either like at wide open throttle or it's right before wide open throttles when most people have issues with pods, to me. So that mid-range to wide open. So you're right on the cusp of figuring it out, but not knowing what jet sizes you have, as Matt said, going up, you said like what, 102 is stock? 105?
Yeah, 102.5 or something like that.
You should be upwards of, I would start at maybe, I would start at by 114, 115, and you may end at around 118, 120.
Yeah. And, I mean, you could also just put new plugs in and putt around at 4,000, 4,400. Just keep it there for a minute, cut it, turn the bike off and pull the plugs and read them. You'll know if it's lean or rich. It's probably lean. So those are just some things to try. Yeah,
great advice. Tabbing it was great advice. It's very easy to do that. So good advice. Cool. So, and I wouldn't change the spark plugs and cables yet. Okay. Just wait.
Yeah. And it's not the synchronization because your slides are probably this far open and syncing is not
as dramatic
or it affects
influential.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it at idle, they're like this, right? And a small change makes a huge difference. But when you're like that,
when you're open,
they're open, man. It's not,
right.
It's not that big, man. I can't even talk anymore.
I know. Getting late.
Yeah.
All right. So somehow we already burned another hour. We're only on question 1. Okay. So, talk about the beer front a little bit.
Dude.
What's going on with that?
Man, some serious contributions this time around. I mean, just same as last week, right? We filmed 2 episodes, but man, we got Akbar.
Boom.
My man Justo.
There he is.
Marty McFly. No, just Marty. Fitz. Thomas.
That's right.
Matthew Yo. And the Fitz again. So the Fitz doubled up. He's like, oh, man, I think I should do more. And he did.
That's right, man. Thank you guys so much.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
It really means a lot. We do have a donation bin where you can send us some money. We buy some beers for the show. I try to try out new things. Matt's pretty vanilla when it comes to what drinks he's going to use. Uses the same one every week. It's all good. It's all good. We appreciate you guys. We do spend some time doing this, and it just shows that you guys value that, and hopefully we're helping somebody out there.
So next week I'll get something new, dude. Don't worry.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
2 weeks, Matt.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Figure it out. Question number 2. Hit it.
All right, dude. Question number 2. Joe on 2 wheels. Broken Moto. I think this is the guy. Yeah, I think it is.
This is the guy.
This is the guy. My scooter is a 2019 50cc Tao new speed 50 GY6 clone. Although the battery is charged DC, I have 2 different ignition systems. One ignition is AC based, the other is DC based. The way to tell the difference is the AC based system is the CDI module is smaller than the DC CDI module. The DC CDI module is larger because it's got a separate rectifier circuit inside, because the CDI module circuit itself needs DC. When I said my system was AC, I was referring to the ignition system. I should have clarified that. A majority of the scooters out there will be AC-based ignition. About 75 to 80% on the model I have. Made some design improvements. One was to move the rectifier. I think he was having a bunch of these blow up on him or something.
Yep.
The rectifier is located under the front cowling, and the front cowling is self-ventilated to allow airflow through the front cowling. Otherwise, it would be under the ignition switch. Right there, the rectifier would be blocked from the airflow. I'm currently researching rectifiers from a motorcycle that I've decided to go that route. Thanks, Broken Moto, Joe. So this is the guy in Northern California that's ripping this thing up mountains, right?
Ripping it, dude.
Dude.
Riding straight into the horizon every
That's
day.
hilarious, and I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's flat as a pancake around here, and man, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, it is good for him. So it sounds like the rectifier is located probably under the headlight in the front panel of the scooter, and there's probably like some like cutout air vents where it kind of hits right on it.
Yeah,
great. So Joe, I'm glad you're going to research some more on regular rectifiers. It's going to be pretty easy to find because it's a pretty basic system. As much as it might have sounded confusing to you guys, ultimately what he's saying is that one system is larger than the others because of the internals that are inside of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Should we explain some of this or no?
What, as far as AC and DC stuff?
Yeah, like how, yeah.
Sure. I mean,
okay. So real quick, you got a stator and a flywheel, right?
Yes.
Running off the crank. It's an electromagnet, and it pumps out AC voltage.
Very high AC voltage, yeah.
Yes, like 50 volts, maybe more, depending on, well, 3-phase, probably more.
Yeah.
Anyway, that voltage is AC, and what it goes through is a rectifier, which is a series of like 4 or 5 diodes, which are check valves for an electrical system, and it converts it to DC.
Yeah. It cuts the wave in half going out.
Yeah. So like, and then you also need to regulate that. So that's where the regulator comes in and regulates the DC voltage to 14.5 or whatever, 13.3 or whatever it is.
Whatever it's set at. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you charge your battery.
Yeah. Because batteries can't take AC voltage, guys. Only like capacitors can do that, not batteries.
Yeah. And then as far as the ignition system, like ignition coils take DC voltage.
Right. Sometimes on scooters, which is interesting, is on AC systems, because there are full AC systems, like a CH70 or 80 that Honda has, a little 2-stroke, all AC.
Okay.
So the headlight acts like a regulator.
Yeah, I actually did a street conversion on a Husqvarna 400, and I went with AC lighting. Yeah. And it worked great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gets a little confusing for myself. But
it gets very good. I changed a YZF 250 or YZ F is the 4-stroke, right? YZF 250F, is that
Yeah.
what they're called? I changed one of those to being street legal, and I had to get a bigger stator on it to a lighting stator, and then power everything DC. And it was very interesting to learn that.
Yeah.
And I've been through school. I feel like I know electrical somewhat, but like to sit down and be like, okay, I need this to go through this,
Yeah.
but it still needs to go through this. It was very
Sure.
difficult. It was very challenging.
Yeah. And with this thing behind me here, it's a motocross bike, but it's built for woods. I may look into somehow getting a headlight on here.
Cool. Very cool.
We'll see. That's
Good.
obviously nowhere near that phase yet, but
Right.
yeah.
You heard of Baja Designs?
Actually, that's who I used to do this. So, dude, I worked on a 73 Husqvarna CR400.
Mm.
It was like what Steve McQueen, not Steve McQueen. What's his name? Dude. Oh, you're hiding. Okay. Anyway, in Any Given Sunday, I said
The other
McQueen. I said McQueen because Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
I'm watching too many Disney movies. Anyway, dude.
Any Given Sunday?
Yeah, I guess it's an old movie, but anyway,
Yeah,
he's
no.
riding.
I know what it is.
So he's riding this bike, and that's the bike.
Yeah.
And this guy wanted to make it street legal,
Wow.
and it was an AC system, and it was a big headlight, and it was cool.
Badass. Yeah, so I did Baja Designs. They used to make full kits, but I think that the government or EPA cracked the whip on them, and they stopped doing all of it. They were like, no, we don't sell those kits anymore. They're all gone. And you can buy the parts individually, but we don't sell them as a kit anymore. And it's also
Gotcha.
not street legal. So you're like, but it is, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like, I got like because I also turned the CRF 450R street legal
Oh, nice.
for a guy. DOT tires and the full kit. And it was a kit. I bought it. Boom. Straight from Baja. And then the next year he's like, cool. Now do my YZ 250. And I'm like, okay. And I go I go to their website. Gone. All of it's gone. And this is by like a 2-year stint. So I had to piece it together bit by bit.
Sure.
Brutal. I never get paid enough, dude. I'll tell you what, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean. To figure out stuff like that
Right.
takes forever.
Like, sure, we're 30 hours in. You want me to charge you 30 at like
Yeah.
85 an hour for 30 hours? It's not going to happen. I have to stop somewhere and be like, okay, well, I'm only going to make this much. So now all this time that I spend on this is going to be free.
Yeah.
But
I think I have like this video is like 9-10 years old.
Yeah.
I have videos of this thing on my channel, me converting it to
fantastic.
Dude, 9 years ago, watching those videos, it's like
Speaking of this, so how much do you love going back to your old videos?
It's funny because there's like the editing is so like I could have cut out so much crap. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, and then like I started with a $40 refurbished camera, a flip camera,
Wow.
dude. It was terrible.
Dude, so
hey,
I went to your page. I forgot what I was looking at. I think I was grabbing something, or I was looking at something. I forgot what it was. I was looking at one of your 2-stroke videos. I think I was going to share with somebody.
Okay.
And when I load it onto your page, the first thing that comes up is something from like it's like something from like 7 or 8 years. I don't know how old it is.
Yeah.
But dude, you're a little overweight. It's a little bit different. Like the lighting's not as good. Your neck's a little bit fatter. And you look great now. You've lost tons of weight from when you used to be. When I look at this, I'm like, this is an old video.
You know what, dude? Like, I think I'm like heavy right now, dude.
Really?
I stepped on the scale the other day. I was 180. Like
Okay.
that's heavy for me. Like
How tall are you?
5'10".
I mean, that's I don't know.
Well, I was like, actually, shit. I don't even know. I don't track my weight. Okay, but like
Right.
I know probably 4 months ago I was like 170.
Okay. What about
Like
8 years ago?
I don't even know, dude.
Because I'm just as embarrassed of my old videos, like my first ones. I'm
Yeah,
like, it's cringe. It's cringe worthy to
yeah,
me to watch my old videos,
yeah,
especially like my first three. And those are the best videos.
yeah.
The wildest thing. Those are
Well,
like the 500, 700,000 view videos.
yeah.
But
Well,
I'm like, I can't believe people sit through this.
I got one on fuel screw tuning. Like my first year I was ever doing this. It has
Yeah.
3 million views.
Yeah.
I don't even show my face. All you see is my hands, and the quality is terrible, dude. Because it's this
Dude.
$40 camera, no lighting.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's the
hey, man.
content, man.
Yeah,
It's the content. That's all it is.
yeah.
Good job. You made it so far.
Yeah.
All right. Question 3 from Paul in UK. Hey guys.
So wait, hold up. First of all,
Okay. Okay.
um, did you watch the videos?
It didn't work.
Okay, so it didn't work. And then I asked him, hey, we're filming tonight. Can you send us or attach the videos? And he did.
Oh.
So,
But you
because
put them in the dock, right?
no, because he sent them as attachments, so you'd have to download it and view it.
Okay, I didn't see it.
But anyway, the reason I stopped you is because he pretty much explained exactly his issue in the videos. So we might not have to, because this is a page and a half of text.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could read it if you want, and then you can edit it out, whatever.
Honestly, all I really want to read from this whole thing is the first paragraph.
Okay.
Because he says, first, I have to apologize for the videos, for the content primarily, and also you need to think about this in the UK accent. Sorry. For the content primarily, but for the quality as well. Secondly, absolutely cracking show. I love that terminology. Please, please keep it up. Must buy you some mirrors or send to a 24 tray of Stella Ortiz.
A tray, dude. I've never heard that before. Yeah, Paul emails me all the time, so it's hilarious.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it's totally different.
Absolutely cracking show.
A tray, so that's what they call it over there, huh?
A tray, dude, not a rack. A tray.
Or a case.
Yeah, case.
A case of beer.
Well, cool. So we'll roll a video.
Hi guys. Hi Matt. Hi Cody. Firstly, I'll apologise for the poor quality and amateurish content in this video, but because it's the first one I've ever done. Secondly, which should have been first really, is thanks for the show, guys. It's absolutely brilliant. The content is fantastic, and the banter between you two is simply brilliant. Oh, and Cody, I owe you an apology. I've got Matt's merchandise, but not yours yet, but I will. Right. I'll briefly just go into it. The issue I've got is with a 1978 CB750K8, which I restored about 7 years ago. And it's got 19,000 miles on it. And it's only done 650 since I did the rebuild. So it's not used a lot. But I do fire it up regularly and use the clutch and so on and so forth. But the issue is, when it's stationary, I can select the gears of treat from first neutral, through the gears of treat, no trouble at all. But when the engine's running, it's a bitch to get out of first. So, the best thing to do is to get on and show you, really, I suppose, as it turns out. So I can show you, one, when it's not running, and two, when it is. Whether it's the clutch or whether it's the gearbox, I'm not entirely sure, but I'd like your advice on it, to say the least. So, let's crack on. So, next one. See you in the next vid. Okay, the engine running nice and warm. Let's jump. Now, I can't get it going. I think I've gone into second. Yeah, it has. So I'm through neutral to first. Oh, come on. I can't get out. No, hang on. It's in neutral, no light. It's the switch. There we go. Okay, mate, thanks for that. Turn the ignition on. Let's see the neutral light. First. Neutral. First. Lovely. Second. Neutral. First. Neutral. Second. Neutral. I can select it through the gears quite easily. Take that out, no trouble at all. Now what happens, watch what happens when I start it. Oh, film the clutch lever there. The play I've got in the clutch lever, here let me have this, is far less than I'd like. I think that's not enough, but you watch. Okay, well, what I'll do is start it. Oops, hang on. Clutch in. Big clutch, little 50. Normally stalls. Oh no.
Did you see the hoodie he was wearing? He was wearing this, dude.
What? Dude,
Yeah,
I haven't seen the video.
yeah,
So
first to neutral is very difficult to find. It goes into second.
okay, he needs a
So
new
it's-
clutch.
Okay, he has a new clutch.
Really? Brand new?
This is a rebuilt motor. He said he did a
Okay.
restoration on it. Okay. What other info can I give you? Because he's questioning the clutch.
Okay.
I think he went with
Oh, new clutch, friction plates, only a few hundred miles, but probably 4 to 5 years ago. Can't recall if OEM or EBC, but definitely quality friction plates. Steel plates were not warped and well within wear tolerance of manufacturer spec.
But you're onto something, because if you think about it, when it's not running versus running, the only thing that plays a part is the clutch.
Right.
Because if you imagine your engine running, your crank spinning, this thing has the primary chains that drive, it would be what, the main shaft?
Yep.
Which spins your outer basket, and your inner basket is stationary.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two things that are changed from not running to running. So I think what might be happening is there's just a little bit of drag, and it's preloading the gear set a little bit maybe, and you just can't, the gears just don't want to slide and move.
Right. I mean, he even talked about it lurching forward. He's shifting the gear, also it's almost like the clutch is stuck, and that's absolutely what's happening.
Okay. Where's that at?
It makes
yeah.
it makes a significant clunk when selecting first, and if left for a week or two, will stall when selecting first.
Okay.
Boom.
All right. So I mean, it's got to be the clutch, because
Right.
non-running versus running.
Right.
Okay. Even though it's new, that's got to be it,
It's got to be it.
right?
It's very honestly, it's more common than what he may think. A lot of bikes, it happens. I mean, I did the 900F that I've been doing all the work on. I even took all the plates out, dude, and sanded down the steel plates because the bike kept like 1,700 miles on it.
Yeah.
But there was rust all over the steel plates. Sanded them all down. right? Took a plastic brush to the. I was just trying something. I was like, these parts are new. These parts are brand new. You know.
Right.
Still did it, dude. It still freaking did it.
For my build, I vapor blasted them.
Cool.
Dude, that is a super fine media because they were rusty. I cleaned them and they were really good. So that's the kind of finish you want. You want a very smooth finish. Sure. I remember back in the day, we used to smoke clutches and people would dry blast them. And when you put it back together, they were very grabby.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But it went away. So what that tells you, it just wears in. So I you know what I would try is like riding this thing. Mm-hmm. And while you're riding and while it's under load, like every once in a while, grab and pull the clutch halfway in and it'll slip. And the slipping will cause a little bit of wear. Not like slipping, like burning up your clutch, but just slip the damn thing and see if it improves.
It could help.
Yeah.
It could help. But it's not like he needs a new clutch. But then when we look down further, scroll down further, he starts talking about another issue. He starts saying that there is a slight whine in all gears, but fifth and occasionally there's a slight whine in all gears, but fifth, and occasionally slips out of third and or fourth, but is easy to change up and down in the gear. So it's easy to shift, but it's slipping out of fourth and fifth. Any ideas what could cause the gears to whine? It's only really noticeable because there's no whine at all in fifth. And that, my friend, could be, he's talking a little bit further down, is this a gearbox rebuild coming his way? And I'm not going to say yes, but I'm not going to say no, because it's slipping out of third and fourth is a completely different scenario. It has nothing to do with your clutch.
Right.
Clutches don't cause slippage, or not. They cause slippage, obviously, but they don't cause gears to move away from each other, is what I meant to say. So that could be a number of different things. I don't know how many miles this bike had. Did you say how many miles?
Yeah, so it has 19,000.
Since the rebuild?
Yeah, well, before the rebuild, and then 650 since. And I don't know if that's kilometers or miles.
It's still not as much as I would hope for a trans problem.
Right.
But it's potential. I mean, it's potentially causing, if someone whoever had it before you did not, just abuse the motorcycle, then you could have fork issues as far as the shifter fork that could be a little bit bent. I mean, if you're in fourth and you full throttle it, does it slip out? Or if you're in, let me take my hand off the computer. If you're in third and you full throttle it, does it bang out of gear and then all of a sudden it's in between two, then you have a major problem with the transmission. The dogs have been rounded off.
Yeah.
You could have a bent fork that's not holding it fully into third, or it's not holding it fully into fourth. Is it only happening when you are accelerating heavily? Trans problems are to dictate, but the whine could be chain and sprocket. The whine could also be countershaft bearing. So, or it could be gears, dude. If a fork overheats and bends, the gear that it's driving into can be off a little bit, and then it's not connecting on the gears right. So you have two gears trying to mesh together, but all of a sudden the fork is not allowing it to do that. It's more allowing it to kind of do this, where it's off to the side of it, and then that can cause a whine because the fork's bent. It's not like in the gear. It's like halfway or midway, whatever, and it jacks it up, man. It screws it up. So
yeah,
it's hard to say. You don't know until you know. Unfortunately, there's no look for metal shavings in your oil filter.
Yeah. Another good resource to use. Contact Ken at cycleexchange.net. They only do CB750 stuff. They did all my work.
Yeah.
And they actually sell complete transmissions that have been cryo treated
Really?
and like almost super finished. And I think they do some back cutting and some
Wow.
other stuff because there's some, I wouldn't say issues, but improvements that can be made.
Yeah, for sure.
And they sell everything you need.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they have tons of support for the CB750.
So this video is brought to you by Cycle Exchange. Free
Yeah.
sponsorships going all over the place. You're
Yeah,
welcome, Cycle.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I spent like probably $2,500 with them when I did a stock rebuild.
I used their stuff for a rebuild that I did on a
Yeah.
souped up bored out motor. They, like, honestly, I ordered a gasket set from them, head, cylinder, like some gasket kit. Very impressive in the style of gaskets they use.
Did you use an MLS
Maybe.
gasket or stock for the head gasket?
What's an MLS?
A multi-layer steel.
Did it have like black crap on it?
So you're familiar with like the standard fiber gasket,
For sure.
and then the MLS is like 2 or 3 thin. Okay, you've done a like on a newer 4-stroke 450 or whatever. The head gasket is very thin. It's metal, and it's 3 sheets riveted together. That's MLS.
Okay.
So they have an MLS head gasket for the CB750 because you know that it's supposed to be retorqued, and you can't retorque it unless you pull the motor.
And
So-
750s and 550s and 500s and 500Ts are all notoriously head gasket leakers.
Right. So they have an MLS gasket. So you just slap that guy on there, and you never have to touch it.
Okay. So the gasket that I used was, I want to say it was thin metal, but they had like this layer on it. It was like a black textured layer.
Okay.
That I hadn't seen. It wasn't like a regular fiber or cork, whatever style gasket. It felt like a good gasket.
So I mean, some of those MLS gaskets do have that like black coating.
Okay, it might have been. I mean, it was for a big bore kit. I don't know, but
Okay.
long story short, it
Yeah.
looked legit. It was.
Yeah.
It looked like it was better than Honda. What Honda would have given me.
And you know what's crazy is like I sent them all my stuff, head, cylinder, and some other stuff. Dude, their turnaround was like a week or 2. Valve job, cylinder boring, new pistons. I mean, like, you know what's,
Wow.
you know, whenever you need machine work, you're like, oh man, how long is this going to sit at the machine shop?
Oh yeah.
A months, years? No, dude. Fast turnaround. So
That was killer. Yeah, when I sent the for the 350 that will never be completed that I've been working on for 2 years now.
yeah.
I had to get the cam ends. So the CB3 or CBCL 350 from Honda, they used a hardened camshaft in the center, single cam, and it ran into 2 holders. So you have your cam lobes going in the middle, but you got 2 holders. That's like those silver discs you see on the outside of the 350s. So that's the actual holder that holds the cam. So the cam is riding on that portion. It is an awful design because you have very, very soft aluminum with hardened cam steel, and then you have imperfections in the motor. And imperfections in the motor is because Honda was like, let's make 3 million of these bikes in the next 10 days. So they're making a bunch of 350s and, all that stuff that's coming out that may not be perfect. So any dirt or speck or lack of oil pressure getting the top end, they would wear those holders out. It's a common fail point. People still run them on the track all day. No race with those holders. They work great for a little bit. So I went with an Italian style holder that has needle bearings inside. So the cam is riding inside a needle bearing. So I had to get the camshaft turned down to fit the races for the needle bearings.
Oh, okay.
Very, very cool. I'll post pictures up. spent way too much money, just like the car that you're working on now. But I waited about 3 months for that can to be turned down.
Oh man.
Called them every 2 weeks. Hey, how's it going? We'll get to it. What'd you need again?
Yeah. What's your name?
Right. Eventually just went up there and was like, hey, remember me? Here are the instructions. Here's a second copy just for you. I need it turned down to this much. Then he actually just did it for me, like right in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
It only took 3 months, but whatever. That's the nature of this bike.
Yeah. It looks good though. I saw it on Instagram or whatever. So
Yeah,
it
going.
looks...
It's going. One day. I haven't even fired it up, man. I haven't even fired. The motor's in. The harnesses ran. Carbs are on.
What are you waiting for? You nervous?
I don't know. I've rebuilt many of motors. Many of motors have been rebuilt. But I think that I don't have an excuse. I think I'm just oh, you know what it is I don't have an exhaust for it. Still not a big excuse, but it's the type of excuse that I would use to not start the bike. I don't need an exhaust to start it, right? But I'm waiting to design an exhaust. I'm waiting for a buddy to help me design an exhaust for it that I want. Cause I don't have anything to like bolt up to it, just so I can run it and to like tune it. Because I'm not gonna be satisfied if I can just like, oh cool, okay cool, it runs, and then shut it all off. I don't know. I've done it before. I do it on almost any rebuild that I do. I just fire it up real quick. I'm like, cool, and then I'll just keep moving forward. I don't know. I'm just being super anal about it.
Sure.
Part of me doesn't think that. Part of me thinks there's going to be a problem, just because of the way that it all fit together was just kind of sketchy, and like getting the head work done, and then machining the head to fit a certain kind of tensioner, and the tolerances for the cam was very, very tight, and it was just it all kind of it makes me a little nervous. It makes me a little nervous. That's, I don't know.
I hear you.
I don't know. I haven't started it yet, so maybe we'll do a live video of that, so everyone can cry with me.
No, man. Hey.
It's my baby. And the goal of the build was to kind of fix all the issues that the bike had.
Okay.
You know, which was the cam holders. I want to get a little more speed out of it. So I had a buddy I have a mentor who used to race flat track, and he does only machining. He's an old guy. And I brought him the head, and he cut the valve guides down. He ported everything, intake and exhaust, and then he taught me a little bit on the rockers and stuff. So the rockers on the 350s are real big. They're real big and bulky, ugly looking things. So he was like, take these and shave as much weight off of them as you can. He was like, and he showed me how he used to do the old TRX 400EXs, because he used to build a bunch of race motors. He's like, do it like this. And I was like, cool, I'll do that. And it's pretty much just knife edging.
Okay.
So I'll post pictures up here. But you take the rocker and you shave as much weight off of it as you can, and you knife edge, so it's not like one big backbone like Honda used. You just take that and just make it as sharp as you can. Like I was just trying to do like all kinds of cool little things. I went the old tensioner on those. They used to have a wheel. The wheels would always go bad, so I went to a slipper style tensioner, which is there's no moving parts in it.
Okay.
So there's no wheel spinning around, which they work great. You can buy brand new ones. Common Motor sells them. People run them on the track. I went and actually, when I was in mid-Ohio for their rally over there, I talked to some guys who raced the 350s because I was really interested in it. And they were like, yeah, we run stock systems. I'm like, holy shit. Seriously? You run stock systems? Like stock tensioners? Like, yeah, they work fine. So I'm like, why did I just spend $300 on a slipper? You know?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be better. It was from another race company who used them in their race bikes. But it's just like there's no moving parts in it, really. All it does is just kind of rock and take tension out of the chains instead of having a wheel. So it did that. I didn't do big bore, but the real main goal was goal of it was to take it down to nothing and then rebuild the entire thing with my members.
Gotcha.
So if anybody's still watching this, inside of the membership, we go all the way down to nothing. And then we rebuild this motor. I show you what parts we use. I show you how we did it. I show you how it assembled. And we go through everything. Frame being powder coated, everything. Wheels, tires being laced. All that was done. So I was just kind of showing the whole process, really.
Damn. So you must have a lot of footage on that, obviously.
Tons of footage.
That's awesome, man.
Tons of footage, yeah. And all that's inside the membership. So VM30 carbs, big honkers on there. Had the harness, one of Vintage Connections custom harnesses made. Kind of trim all the fat off of it and give you brand new connections. It's all stock coloring, brand new reg system for it. I'm doing stock points on it. I'm not going to electronic ignition. Just want to do stock points.
Okay.
And I just want to run it, and I want to see how much faster it could get. I want to dyno it was the ultimate goal, and to see if just the little things that I did as far as opening the head up and lightening up parts, how much that would do.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Now my throat's dry from talking that much. Sorry. So
That's it.
that is it. I need to go watch more Ozark before it gets too late.
Well, yeah, we got to close. I got to pee, man.
Yeah, okay. I'll close this out. So
All right.
We answered his question, right? He made
Yeah, I think so.
once the gears or may not. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Me and Matt just talked for 3 hours. So if you guys saw all of it, you're welcome. If you didn't see all of it, well, that's because we cut it out.
Yeah.
So it has been me, Cody from MotorcycleMD, and Matt from How to Motorcycle Repair. We have, if we helped you guys out or have any videos or helpful tools for you guys that we talked about in this video, we will put them in the description, as well as some other links in there if you guys are interested in the inner circle that I provide, or becoming a Patreon of Matt's YouTube channel, and just checking out what he has going on. Awesome new stuff coming out all the time from him, as well as you get 10% off if you want to get some grip clean. One thing that I'm trying out from them, Matt, I'm going to reach out to them soon. Hopefully they'll send us some cool products, but they have an HD version of that cleaner I sent you.
Okay.
Lemon scented, and it smells really good. So I might be picking up some of that. So again, if you guys want to check out some more stuff, they'll be in the description. How do they get a hold of us?
So yeah, if you have a tech question or any personal questions, whatever it may be, askbrokenmoto@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Just be, man, you've heard the rules a million times.
Yep.
Pics and videos, guys.
Let us know. And so we're about to be in the new year. So we'll see you guys next year.
That's it. That's it for 2020.
Yeah.
Have a good new year. And yeah, we'll see you next year. Hopefully next year will be a whole lot better than this one. So
yeah, maybe next episode we'll talk about some plans that we got for 21.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Sounds good.
Cool, man. Talk to you guys later.
Later, guys. Thank you.
They did this to compete with the Razor.
Right.
The Razor's dominated everything.
It's about time they got into that market. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Better late than never.
Yeah, sure.
Classic Honda fashion. So, when we have a district service manager.
Okay.
Coolest guy ever from Baltimore. And he loves the shop. He loves coming. He sees all of East Coast, but he loves coming over to our shop. He loves what bikes we're working on. We always got something old in there. We're always dicking with something. And he's just the coolest guy. And he was telling us the story about when the Talon was coming out and no one knew about it. No one even knew that they were going to start knowing about it. You know what I mean? It was just pre everything. And he got to test them out with some buddies, and he said he was in like West Virginia or something, and the Talon it doesn't have any decals on it or nothing like that. It's just like incognito,
Sure.
among all the other trail riders, you know, so they don't even want anybody to know what's going on in case this thing explodes, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
While we're
Yeah.
testing it. And he's testing it, and he's going up all kinds of crazy places. And he said he remembers this one time that he went, and at the base of where this hill or wherever they were going through the woods, there was this Kawasaki mule, right? And so they're like talking to the guy, whatever. They take off up the hill, blah, blah, and they're going all kind of craziness with this thing. They sit and stop for a second. Sure enough, right behind them, Kawasaki mule. So then they take off again, and he's traveling. He's hauling ass now because the units heated up and everything. They make it all the way to the top, and then they start making it over. And sure enough, as they're going, right beside him, that Kawasaki mule, man, it just did not give up. It just, no matter how far and how fast they went, man, at some point the Kawasaki mule was right
That's
there.
hilarious. Yeah.
And I thought that was funny. That he was like, that damn mule was right beside us.
That's funny, man.
Anyways, yeah, this Talon is a pretty cool unit, man. It looks like 25 grand. If I were honest with you,
Yeah.
it looks like it. You know, it's not like you're like going and sitting in like a bench seat, you know, with like one seat around your waist. Like you hop into a bucket seat that's color coded to match the panels. You snap into a full shoulder harness that like locks you in. Very, very comfortable riding position. You feel like you feel legit, and you feel like you're in something cool,
Like a video game, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really
That's
do.
awesome.
Yeah, so total props to Honda.
Yeah.
So that launch mode is just something else.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the thing is, like, my vehicle is worth like 6-7 grand.
Right.
And the family car, 15-20 grand. So to go spend 25 grand on a toy
And then
that I would wreck. Dude, because here's the thing. You're in there. You're strapped in. You feel so safe. You're just going to hammer that thing hard.
Yeah.
You know? And, okay, like, you know what I bought like 20 years ago is my buddy was getting rid of a Suzuki Samurai. Do you know what a Suzuki Samurai is? It's like a geo tracker. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting rid of this thing for $75. I'm like, all right, I'll buy it. Stick shift, you know, freaking 4-wheel drive. And I brought it up there to Wisconsin, and we hammered the hell out of that thing, dude. I mean, I would literally drive right at pine trees this big. Just the thing would go like this, up, it'd go down. And then one time it ripped the whole exhaust off. The whole exhaust just
rightfully so.
I had a lot of fun with that $75, dude. I mean, the thing wasn't fast.
Right.
It was a lot of fun, dude. I almost started the whole forest on fire with that thing.
Sure, man.
But I got to show you a picture. Hold on.
Okay.
This is it right here.
Oh, beautiful, man. It's like a tracker.
86 Suzuki Samurai. We're totally ripped, wasted in this video. I don't know what we're doing standing on this thing, but
oh man,
you can see it's cold. It's like frosted out.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic, dude. Are you in the middle?
I'm in the back.
Okay. It looks like a tracker. That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. Geo tracker, Samurai.
Okay.
But dude, this thing. Oh my God, dude.
It was your Talon of the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
But you also need to think, man, like the people who have these, they just got money. I mean,
yeah,
you got people who are making 50 grand a month, or like, you know, online entrepreneurs. I'm making 50 grand a month.
Yeah.
25K.
Different lifestyle, my friend.
Different lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
That could be us, Matt.
It could.
It could be us, dude. We drive halfway, we meet in the middle, we'll find somewhere to ride.
Oh man. Awesome.
Cool, dude. Well,